So please repeat.
Yeah, so maybe Tarun and Ramesh, you guys can start off with the introductions and then we will continue.
Great. So, hello friends, myself Ramesh. I'm doing PhD here in transportation engineering here at University of Minnesota, and that's it. That's Tarun.
I think it would be, broad description. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think you guys should also cover what research you are doing, like some nitty-gritties of that.
So I've just started my research here. I'm working on traffic assignment. Basically, everything we read in transportation planning, here I'm interested in transit only. So the assignment work we do is just related to transit in my research. And yeah, so that's what I'm just right now doing. So you can like summarize my research as network modeling also.
Yeah. Hi. Hello everyone. It's Tarun. I am pursuing my PhD here in University of Minnesota. I will first of all I will try to summarize. What is like what are the main research areas in structural engineering, and then how what are the connections and what you require to pursue a PhD or graduate study in general. So, most of the people you must be in either in your second year or third year, maybe some of the first year will be there. And you have a very basic courses on maybe solid mechanics, fluid mechanics, and few further mechanics courses, some advanced courses, and some design courses and all. But I can feel that still, I can say that many of us don't know the broad area of mechanics. So let me tell you what are the major research area in mechanics. So I can tell I can divide these all in three special groups. One is this conventional structure engineering stuff like for earthquake engineering analysis, for fire, for extreme loads. People are doing work on structural health monitoring and these kind of stuff for a long time. These areas were maybe in the last 30 years or something, but so they are kind of saturated. The other major area in which mechanics peoples are involved, mechanics community is not just from the people not just come from civil departments. They are from aerospace and mechanical, and there are special mechanics departments also. So their range is very wide, and you can think about mechanics or solid mechanics or these areas like linking between fundamental physics or fundamental sciences and engineering. This is the way solid mechanics or continuum mechanics is defined. This is the definition of these continuum mechanics in if I would define something called solid mechanics, I would define in that way. Big people define it that way. So in mechanics, there are two areas. One area is related to you can think about like designing a material. You must have some courses on quantum mechanics in maybe in the first year or second year. You might think that what are these courses are of use of. So you can think like an atom is behaving based on these quantum laws. So there are a very big community, and you can search for the professors. There are professor named Michael Ortiz at Caltech and his groups, and maybe some. It's a very big group, and he is a very big name. I think you should look at these people what they are doing. So one area is that where they are concentrated on atomic level, nano level, micro level, and try to engineer the material. Not from engineering from material, engineer the material. It's a very vast, and for that you need to have a very solid background in fundamental sciences like physics, solid background in mathematics. Then other sphere is mostly related to numerical methods, in which these courses, these people like finite element people and computational CFD people are there. So they are, you can think like applied mathematics people. Uh, I mean, not applied mathematics, but applied mathematics people. So they are kind of bridge between the novel numerical techniques, application of those numerical techniques who were developed by mathematicians to engineering. So just don't think about in terms of your coursework here, because coursework is quite preliminary. I mean, these things are very important. Everything is derived from there, but they are quite preliminary. Don't think about research in this. It's not research. It's the basic fundamentals of your courses, but it's not research. So my current area is in the third sphere. Like we will be, it's more of like development of numerical methods for complex and complex geometry. Like I mean, currently what work I am involved in, like, I mean, even I can't imagine fifth month earlier that I will be doing this. Currently, I am doing image processing, and that image processing is using the fracture model of materials. How materials fracture, I am doing the image processing based on that. So it's, I mean, even I can't imagine that I will be doing that thing. So area is very big. There are a lot of opportunities there, and to explore these opportunities, you need to capitalize your time in your undergraduates. You need to, I mean, come out of your hostels and visit the professors. You need to do something, because
Yes. Tarun sir,
yeah,
Sir,
yeah,
sir, there are students who are having some questions for you.
yes, yes.
It will be really helpful for us.
Can we have the questions first? We'll end up with the introduction and then.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Tarun, and now moving on. Like Sushovan.
Yep.
Like, please introduce.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sushovan Sen. I graduated from IIT Roorkee 2013. I spent 2 years at UIUC, University of Illinois, doing my master's in transportation. Now I'm doing my PhD. Hopefully, I'll graduate in 2018. My research is, it works on urban energetics. So the study of the motion of movement of energy through cities caused by pavements. That's where the transportation part comes in. I'd say it mixes in, let's see, computer science, mechanical engineering, and atmospheric sciences. These are the primary areas. Civil engineering, of course. So it mixes a number of things. You could say it's partly environmental engineering, but largely it's computational studies and computational. That's my introduction.
Yeah, thanks, Sushovan. We have Chandramouli Avasti, who is a 2000 graduate. And
Hi, everybody.
Yes, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chandramouli, and I graduated in 2015 in civil engineering, of course. And then I took a master's in IIT Kanpur. And I'm in my second year. I got this DAD scholarship to pursue my thesis writing in Germany at U Dresden. And right now, hydraulics and hydrology are two major sections which come under when you pursue further, like in hydraulics and hydrology field. And I'm working in hydrology, and my thesis part is working with hydrological models. So I'm working with Raven hydrological models, and I'll be making it. I will be working to make it optimizing it to perform it better. And nowadays, if you want to work in this field, you have to obviously you have to work with conceptual models, and you have to now you have their models available, hundreds of them. Like each university has some models with them, and then you are supposed to make them more and more flexible and more efficient, because right now scenario is changing. You have dramatic changes in your weather and your precipitation conditions and all. So yeah, this is my study. So if you want to like know more about this field, you can ask questions later and I can answer you.
Okay, thanks, Molly. Now continuing, Shantanu.
Hi, I'm Shantanu. I graduated in 2015 from Civil Engineering and I'm doing my master's from University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. I am in environmental engineering and my thesis revolves around working with struvite. So it's like struvite is a phosphate-based fertilizer which we precipitate from treatment plants. Then basically working modeling and optimization of struvite recovery from wastewater treatment plants.
Okay, thanks, Shantanu. Yeah, myself, I'm Pallav Ranjan. I graduated from IIT Roorkee back in 2015, and for 1 year I was a research assistant at IIT Bombay in the Civil Engineering Department for half of the period, and for half of the period in Center for Environmental Sciences, again at IIT Bombay. And I joined this year. This is my first semester at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and I'm in hydraulics mostly. Yeah, and my thesis would be revolving. Like currently, I'm a master's student, and yeah, I'll be converting into PhD at later stage of my life. So yeah, my thesis is around finding the flow behavior in a vegetated river channel. So the vegetation that occurs inside the channels, it affects the flow characteristics, and like a lot of things happen. You are familiar with the Manning's equation. So the Manning's n, it changes drastically, and this science has not been understood very clearly till now. So yeah, my thesis would be to numerically model such channels and find the filter in there. So moving on, we can begin with the questions. So I think some of you submitted some queries online. So yeah, we can take it. Panelists, and
Can we take like common questions like what are the chances of MS funding first? Because like most of the people are like curious about the funding first.
yeah. So anybody would like to answer that?
I think Soban will be the best for that because he is here for a long.
Okay, so the question is about funding and funding opportunities. For MS, if you're not intending to continue the PhD, funding is pretty hard. So it's especially structural engineering because there are so many students in structural engineering. Half of civil engineers. Then again, most importantly, I'd say if you're really considering, if obviously funding is important, go to a very good university because top universities tend to have a lot of research funding and also a lot of teaching assistantships and other forms of funding that you can get. So first and foremost, go to maybe the top 10 or top 20, don't go below that, to the university. Next, there are some questions out there on scholarships and fellowships. University of Illinois Civil Engineering has a nice fellowship for Indian students. Shantanu had it, Pallav has it now. I had it when I first came. There are a couple of other fellowships in the UK and in Germany. Look up that in the US, you find fewer scholarships and fellowships because the government tends to support higher education less for whatever reason in this country. But yeah, the most important thing is make sure you have very good grades. It really, really matters what your GPA is. If any senior told you GPA doesn't matter, they lied completely. It matters how much your GPA is. A and B, go to a very good university. These two will maximize your chances of getting any fund.
Yeah, I think that concludes it very well. And adding to that, like if you don't have a very good GPA right now and you're really interested into it, I know the system there, it's very hard to get grades. Like, everybody cannot get a 9.5. Yeah, but that does matter in your graduate studies. So for getting a better chance, and if you are willing to pursue PhD, then you should seriously consider the MTech in India, like from good institutions, any of the IITs. And my preference would be from either from ISC or IIT Mumbai or Kharagpur or Kanpur. And then you have much better chances of getting funded PhD back in the US. And there was one question about if it is good to do a RA shift like as I did. So I would suggest, I would be negative on that point because RA shift, yeah, it does help, but if in the same period of time, like say if you spend 1 more year, you get a sure shot opportunity to get into funded PhD and RHF. It's tricky. At times you may not. So it's the better chances of getting a PhD is to do a MTech and then some.
I would just like to add a point about the GPA thing. So, like most of the people I know, they usually have a GPA of like 9 and above. But in my case, I had a GPA of 8. So, just to point it out, like GPA does matter, but it's not the only thing which matters. If you do not have a good GPA, but you also have a good SOP, your SOP tells a story which is convincing enough, then you have a good chance of entering into a good college. So, GPA matters, but it's not the only thing which matters. So if you don't have a good GPA, but you have a good profile, you have good projects, you have good internships, that can get into that will help you get into a good university. So don't just focus on your GPA, also focus on your other parts of the applications.
Yeah, like Shantanu, did you?
Yeah, I would like to add one point. Like there are some universities both in USA and Canada, like they don't offer MS admission without a funding. Like University of Toronto, like most of the university in Canada, they don't offer an admission in MS or PhD without funding. So like they will take one student, but with funding. Similarly, in our University of Minnesota, our civil engineering department does offer funding. Like at least like all the students, graduate students in our department are funded somehow, maybe like 25% appointmentship, but they do get funding. So it's not like every university is the same. They do provide funding for MS, so you do not lose hope for that.
But the department is small.
Yeah, definitely. Our department is small. Also, yeah, I agree with Shantanu and also Shishobhan. GPA matters a lot, but there are other things. Like you should do some research. It's not about subjects. I can take my example, like transportation. You do not study a lot in transportation, like in IIT Roorkee. And that's not sufficient. That's not PhD here. Like you should do something. So if the IIT is not offering something, you should do some research or internship and try to like follow your dream.
From my point, I mean, like how the scholarship or funding system in US works. It's like professor hires you, and he paid for your tuition. He paid for your health plan and stipend. So it's like my professor is spending around $65,000 per year on me. And what I am supposed to do, I am supposed to do research under whatever project he has, or I am supposed to do research. In the end, he is playing a blind game. In that blind game, he expects you to deliver in terms of results. So whatever whatever all the parameters, your coursework, your GPA or research experience, internship experience, in a cumulative sense, it should show that you are capable of doing good class research. So if you I think just for that, just GPA doesn't matter. Just but courses do matter. I mean, without a solid course, I don't think it is possible to do everything. But instead of that, people you should go to other IITs or IIT for intern, and now you should also go to these minors or honors, because these things do matter. If you have, let's say minors in mathematics or computer science, they will increase.
Yeah, there was a question related to if I think Dr. Andrew was asked, is it better to have a minor degree or getting the research projects? In my opinion, like getting a minor degree matters a lot. Just study the subject. You study the subject, you know about the concepts of that subjects. But in a research project, you are kind of specific. So you are not like introduced to the subjects a lot. So getting a minor degree is a plus point.
Yeah, because and it also shows in the transcript that you have taken these courses. So it's like there's more trust with that. And
Well,
apart from
I make an intervention on this issue of minors. Remember, it depends on what your advisor wants you to do. If you're going to work on computational mechanics, then yes, knowing computer science certainly helps. But if you're going to do plain concrete testing, then it really makes no difference whether you are a minor in computer science or mechanical engineering.
Yeah, certainly.
So it depends a lot on what you're going to do.
okay, yeah, there's one more question by Professor Indrajit. He said that is it better to have experiences from other IITs or abroad schools, like after graduation before applying for MS or PhD? So, in my opinion, what I have experienced, I did 1 year at IIT Bombay. So, I always suggested that you should either go for MTech and then apply for a PhD if you are really interested, or if you are going for only for MS, then you can try it.
See, the point is, after 3 years, you guys should reflect back and see that do you have a profile which will get you into a good college or not. If you have a profile, then go for GRE, regular decided for it. But if you think you do not have a good profile, then you should do 1 year of research as some kind of fellowship in some university or do MTech and then go for PhD. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, so in
Yeah.
my opinion, also like getting an experience like this definitely adds something into you. Getting research internship in abroad or from any IIT, yeah, definitely it's a good point. You should get that.
And there's one interesting question like, which are the institutes that combine studying and computer engineering with data sciences? So, I think is the person there who asked this question? Like Parag Jain. Okay, yeah, Parag. So, for you, I think like informatics, geoinformatics already does that. There's tons of data in geoinformatics. I did some of my projects on that, and yes, you have big data analysis and stuff like that in that field. So you need not look into other departments for that. I think civil engineering already has that. So you can do projects.
I'll add on data analysis. I don't think there's anything in civil engineering research that doesn't do data analytics.
Yeah.
From construction management, transportation, hydrology. We have a professor here who uses drone to collect data for hydrological systems. Just what everybody does data analysis. It's such a wide field. You'll find a comfortable home in civil engineering. Anywhere else.
Yeah, so basically geoinformatics it has like branches in everything, be it water, be it climate change, or like anything, agricultural sciences, everything is covered in that. In fact,
And I mean, let's say you are enrolled in MS in civil engineering or something, then whatever coursework or whatever requirements are, let's say it's 30 credits or something, 10 courses, then these 10 courses will be chosen by you. So you can choose any courses in the whole university.
Yeah, the system is very flexible.
Very flexible.
If you want to be a data analyst, you be a data analyst. Just take the courses related to data analysis. So it's very flexible. It's like they're not forcing you to study advanced highway engineering.
They won't force you to study something called advanced highway or port. I mean, core courses on that.
Yeah, it's like you are. Yeah. Also, there are some restrictions, of course, but
there are very less.
Yeah. So, but you can choose other courses. Yeah.
I mean, I will have around 8 courses in mass that.
Moving on, we had one question about what is the placement package available in MS in hydrology and hydraulics. So in US, like if you are coming to searching for a job, so it's something around like $60,000 US dollars like for beginners. So that's around 5,000 per month. So that's the general salary that an engineer gets in US. And then you have like if you are into the computer sciences a bit, so it can be more or less. It fluctuates. And then the companies mostly in US are either the USGS or the environmental a group in the US, like those who are concerned with the data collection stuff, and US Corp of Engineers. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, and they really need people like either PhD or MS who know this stuff. And back in India, you have the Central Water Commission, which you can go into. But yeah, again, you'll be headed by a person who is not from a background and he's an IES. So, and yeah, and there's an interesting question, like what are the challenges after Trump has come into presidency? Yeah, that's a funny question, but I think Trump has been hyped, and everybody requires good brains. So yeah, it should not matter. It should not matter. Like 99% should not matter. If there's some, it should matter for those people like maybe some like who just come into the US just for looking for jobs and trying to settle into US. So for those people, it should matter. But being ITNs, it should not matter for you guys because the world needs.
Let me put it this way, and this is a general truth of life. If you're honest and hardworking, you don't have to worry about politics getting in your way. Politics may slow you down, it can't stop you. If you're honest and hardworking. If you intend to take a route which is not that honest, then you should worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like getting a job is not that difficult here. If you are hardworking, you will get a job, definitely.
Yeah, and about internships. There's a question about internships. So, no, in December, yeah, you are late already. Like it's already 26th or 25th of November, and it's 5 or 10 days your vacations will start. So you're already late. So you could try for some internship in for the summers. And people generally prefer about 3 months of internship. Like if you're going for a foreign internship, like DART or something. And generally, mailing, I don't think it works too much. But yeah, Tanzania, you had an internship. So I think you can contact your professors at Roorkee and they might help you in this.
Please write a decent email to them. They deserve that.
Yeah. Yeah, so any questions on your side? So I think there was a question for Tarun. So who was it? Who was the question? Go ahead. Guys, come on, we are arranging this for you, so you have to ask questions.
Sir, I have a question.
Go, yeah.
Sir, if I'm not having a good CGPA, suppose if I'm having a CGPA around 8 and I'm having a good profile in research, and if I get a research paper or 1 or 2 research paper at the end of my 4-year bachelor's, can I end up in a good university, or it would not be possible?
For sure,
without a good
for
CGPA.
sure. You don't have to worry about it. Just go for it. At least you should give it a try.
I don't think there should be any problem in that. That also, here papers they have. They should be in a quality journal. Otherwise, they may think in a different direction. So make sure they are in if they are in recognized journal, so that they are able to know that. And
That's an excellent point.
if you are able to write,
all papers are not equal.
Yeah.
Not equal. If you have one paper in a good journal, that's better than 3 papers in an unknown journal.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah. So
Because there are many they call people in your spell paper mill or something. These kind of journals. So they don't matter. They don't matter, or they are in kind of negative way. So, but yes, if you anyhow you could show them that you are capable of doing research, they will take you.
Just to answer on that question, I had a GP of 8. I did not had any research paper. I just had a conference paper. I got into Stanford. So your GPA is not the only thing that matters. Like that's why I'm saying you guys again and again. Your SOP, your extracurricular activities which can relate to your field of study, they also matter. Besides the projects, if you're into some extracurricular activities or some extracurricular projects, which you can somehow relate to your field of study in your SOP, that really matters. So don't just focus on your GPA, also focus on other things.
And also, if I'm working on materials, does that come in civil engineering department or it comes in any other department?
Depends on, I mean, what
Like
kind
I'm
of
working on if I work on concrete, then
if this concrete and steel stuff mainly comes in civil department. I mean, mechanical and aerospace people are, I mean, more sophisticated in
I'd like to answer this question because I actually work in concrete myself.
Oh, sure.
Yes, concrete is definitely civil, but somewhat from a different focus. They focus more on nanoscale modeling or multi-scale modeling. And in the materials in civil, we focus more on the application side of it, rather than really the deep in quantum mechanics of it. So materials, I myself do concrete materials and computational modeling.
Yeah, so it's like in IIT Roorkee, like metallurgy also deals with it. Yeah, mechanical also deals with it. So it's like every branch is interconnected. So you cannot segregate things. So it's just for us. It's like not civil engineers don't do research on materials only. Like there are other branches do research on materials. So what was the main question?
Yeah, adding on, like not about the materials, the previous question. You asked about 3% also. So apart from that, while you are making applications, you should make sure that you have a list of professors whom you are willing to work with. Like generally, what I did was I prepared a spreadsheet and of professors and what their research web link was, and then I emailed them. And yeah, I was in touch with my current advisor for the past 9 months before application. So it really helps, and it really helps you in getting fellowships or departmental TA or RA. Yeah, it does help. So I'd suggest if you guys are really interested in research, you should go ahead and mail professors and ask them for opportunities. That's an edge.
and also I have one thing, sir. Last thing. So I will do a thesis under, like, a professor decides or a committee decides that I have to do masters or PhD in that college. Because if I'm in a if I'm in a conversation with a professor of that college and he agrees that I can do masters after 1 year or 2 year, and will he be deciding person or the committee will decide?
You will be the deciding person.
You will be the one.
You will be the deciding person. Nobody's going to tell you or force you to do a PhD.
No. I'm saying, suppose if I get a good professor in 1 year or 2, and if I'm in a conversation with him, and then at the end, if I apply in that university, then who will decide? Or there will be a committee also decide whether I have to or not.
Right in your SOP,
There will be a rubber stamp committee. At the end of the day, if the professor wants you, the professor is the one who got the funding, the professor will take you, and there will be a committee to stamp it. At the end, it's a PhD especially, and even a research master's is a relationship between a professor and the student. Committee and other people are just added to it.
Any more questions?
You can guys ask questions also. Maybe.
Hi, Shishobhan, Pallab,
Hi,
Tarun, Promesh.
Hi, sir. Hi.
Question. So regarding that question what Nayan Awasthi asked, I know city that if you are applying for master's program, contacted some professor, what they generally do, if you write the professor's name in the SOP, the graduate school, when they will be looking at your application, they assign that professor as a reviewer. That if I have contacted Professor XY, okay, and I have given his name in the SOP, that there are professors like Professor XY who is working topics, this, that. Then when graduate school will open that and they will be sending it they will ask that professor to be one of the reviewers. I don't know what is being followed in other universities. So
Yeah, I agree with you, sir. I guess they forward your application to the particular professor with whom you are interested.
Ramesh, I think they have a connection issue.
first thing is that to have a honors degree or a minor specialization, or is it better to have normal BE degree with several project experiences?
I think I mean, like if you compare with the other IITs like any IIT Kanpur, Madras or Bombay, people there in general do uh, BTech plus MTech program. They do extend their 1 year, and so I mean you will be competing with these people, and they are from IIT Madras or these places. So anyway they have a upper hand from you. It's a fact. We need to accept it. So it's always.
Tarun sir, can you please repeat? You are not audible here.
Oh, okay. The question was related to whether we should have a minor or honors. So I would say that if institute system allow you to do that, you should consider it. Because in other IITs, if you look at their student profile, people in general go for BTech plus MTech program. They do extend 1 year and go for master program. And for PhDs or graduate applications, you will be competing with these people from BTech plus MTech from IIT Madras or Kanpur or Bombay. These people. So they have upper hands. So it's good if the system at institute allow you to do minors in other mathematics department, computer science, or any other, or honors in any specialization. I would say that you should consider that.
Yeah, like your system is not flexible at all. So like
now it is. I mean, last
like
2 years.
Like in case of the choosing the subjects. So if you're like I'm in civil engineering, you cannot choose the subjects for other branches. So like getting a minor degree is only the option to consider the other subjects. To study
Yeah, and adding on to that, like if somebody wants to do a research, like if his area is multidisciplinary, so and you want to work with nanomaterials, so basically there's a nanotechnology building or something, like a department for nanotechnology department. So you, if there's an option, you can do a minus in nanotechnology. That will give you an upper edge. Or in fact, similar with computer science, if you want to go into geoinformatics.
Yeah, get a minor in computer science. It's like
it will always help. Minor in mathematics or computer science will always help.
Yeah, like.
And one general.
I repeat it. I agree with Pallav. It really depends on what you want to do. If you want to do materials research, a minor in mathematics is probably not going to be a problem. I'm not saying it'll be useless, but it might be better if you studied more material science and quantum mechanics.
Yeah. So whatever.
General comment. I would add that what I felt during my application and my studies currently in the university is that we lack mathematical courses. So guys, you have chance to take mathematical courses in the college. Take courses like numerical methods and engineering mathematics, linear algebra, stuff like that. Because the people you'll be competing with will have those in their transcripts, like from IIT Bombay or any other university across the world, but you won't have that. And if you're trying to get into some computational stuff or something related to mechanics, that will definitely give you an edge. And engineering without mathematics is a waste. So I think we should do that while we are in undergrad.
I have a question. How is the lifestyle there? Like, if you choose higher studies, what will be the lifestyle of a student something here? Will it be same like how we live in IIT Roorkee or better?
It's definitely tough. like it's difficult to live here because in IIT Roorkee you will get food ready for you, but here you have to cook your own food, I guess, if you don't want to spend more. And yeah, so you have like all of the responsibilities along with doing studies and research, so it's difficult here to survive.
Let me put it a little harshly. In Roorkee, you guys are not living a real life, and I was also one of you. So, what? That's not real life. When you wake up late to the mess and you still get food, that's not real life. In real life, you have to cook, clean. Dirty clothes don't clean themselves. Dirty
Laundry.
dishes don't clean themselves. You have to cook and clean on your own. You have to manage your finances on your own. On top of that, you have to do your courses. You have to do your research. You have to make sure you keep getting paid and don't get fired. So
You
your
cannot
lifestyle,
sleep on
I'm not saying it's boring. It'll just be a whole new set of challenges.
It's fun.
One more question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have seen that many a time students are asking that during the second year and third year, I liked this specialization very much. For example, it is transportation engineering. Okay.
Mhm.
But in the fourth year, I started liking hydraulics engineering so much. I am planning to go for higher studies in hydraulic engineering.
Mhm. Hello.
Repeat the
What was
question
the
once again
question?
if I am not audible.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now you're audible.
Okay. So many a times I have seen that students are asking that during the second year and third year, I had fascination subject. For example, engineering. Okay. Now, when he or she is in the fourth year, he or she started liking hydraulics.
Yeah.
He or he wants to go for higher studies in hydraulics. Now,
Yes.
in the SOP or in the CV, does he or he needs to talk about the other specialization experience or projects, or it will not help him or her?
Okay, I'd like to answer that. Uh, I think you should definitely mention that because SOP is not just about what you have done in that particular field in which you want to end up doing a master's or PhD. I think it's a general statement why you want to do research, and you show your competence for it. So if you have done some project in say computer science or say in transportation and are applying for uh, MS in hydraulics, then that project that's showing the project and that you've done that project shows that reflects that you are serious about research and you can do research. So I think you should definitely mention that.
And just to add on, just to give an example, people do masters in civil engineering and then they move on to do a masters in computer engineering. So think about it when you're applying for masters in computer engineering, when you're writing an SOP for that, you're not talking about any computer courses. You're just talking about your experiences. So I think it's very much possible, and it should not be that hard.
I would add, remember, nobody expects someone with a BTech to be a specialist in a particular area. Everybody knows a bachelor's degree is a very broad degree. So if you liked something in your third year and in fourth year you found a better course and you decide and you changed your area of liking, it's perfectly understandable. That's the whole point of a bachelor's, to expose you to many different things. So it's not a big issue if you changed your area of interest. It's a better thing if you are academically inclined and you can show it through your grades and through your SOP and your application. In any area, if you're academically inclined, they'll be happy rather than hoping to get a specialist with a bachelor's degree.
Exactly.
A question. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the scope of returning back to MS or PhD? Means what are the job opportunities you get in India after doing US or Canada?
I think the lead goes will be better. Tell that.
I think people in back in India can answer better than us.
Shobhan, other there.
All of us are
So what was the question exactly? After doing the PhD, going back to India?
After pursuing higher studies in US or Canada, what is the scope of
Yeah.
returning back to India?
Okay, I'll speak. I'll answer that purely from my perspective. I definitely look at wanting to come back to India because I want to be a professor. So yes, I want to give Fs and all that soon. Um, there are a lot more faculty opportunities in India. There are a lot of newer IITs which are, it's a different thing there. There, it's not about research as much as it is about building an institution. And in the US, faculty jobs are cutthroat competitive. It's not about your citizenship. It's more about the fact that there are 500 applicants for one job. It's a lot easier in India, and India being a growing country, there's a lot of good stuff happening in the future. I've interacted with many faculty visiting and in conferences from India. So for faculty jobs strictly, which is what I want, I definitely look at India as a completely viable option, probably even a preferred option, because then I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and adding on to that, like the political environment in India has promoted recently like a lot of entrepreneurship. So I think in the coming 10 years, there's a lot of scope for R&D in the industry. So I hope that would also be a new avenue for us. Are there any more questions?
Hello, sir. Uh,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask that I want to pursue MS right now, but I'm not still sure about PhD. Should I apply in MS and PhD both, or available options? Am I audible?
I think the right way, or like the most optimum way to go would be in your SOP. You should say that you are open for consideration to going for a PhD. Do not point blank say that you are not going to do a PhD. You should be open to the idea. That just shows that you're flexible enough, and it also makes the professor at least look twice at your profile, because he thinks that in the due course of time, if you get attracted enough, you might just stay for a PhD even if you initially did not plan to. So in your applications, in your SOP, do not ever say that you do not want to stay for a PhD, even if you know that. Just be open to that idea. It's perfectly normal, because the whole point of doing masters is that in 2 years you have that time to realize that you really want to stay for a PhD or not. It's only because the education system in India and US has a lot of differences, and you never know that over the due course of time you really get interested into a PhD or not. So do not ever say that you do not want to stay for PhD. Always say that you're open to that idea. I think that's the right way to go.
I would like to
And
add
in this,
a
yeah,
point. Like, some people want a job in the USA. They don't want to like do PhD. Getting an MS coursework based is the right option for them. So some people want to come to USA to settle here. So getting an MS coursework based is the right option for them. So I don't think PhD is good for them.
Yeah, so Ramesh, like people who are not
I
aware
agree with that answer.
so there are two type of MS that you can do here in the US. That is, one is MS with research, and the other is MS with without any research. That is only with the courses. So in the other one, you have to do a 4 or more courses, like passing more credit, and you go for it. Yeah, and one more thing, you won't get funded for MS also. I think everyone talking about even you will be funded. So you have to consider your own funding in case you trying for MS coursework.
Well, no, sometimes people manage to get funding as a TA, but certainly not in the beginning.
Yeah, not while coming. Like you have to show your own funding and
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
More questions. Okay, Pallav.
Sir, you're not audible actually.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hello. Not audible yet.
It's not
audible,
clear.
audible.
It's not clear.
Just two. I'm going to ask you two questions. They are related to each other. One is, what is the best time to start for abroad applications? And which one is a better option? Like, should I plan like from the fourth semester or from the sixth semester that I should go to other IITs or abroad universities to get related experience and enrich my profile before applying to abroad universities, or I should go to anywhere for my industry, for example, Delhi PWD or Delhi Metro Rail, work with IIT Roorkee professors on projects, and then I apply for abroad universities. Like I have seen students, the last speaker who has asked you the question, he started building up his profile starting from fourth semester. So he went to IIT Bombay after fourth semester. He went there again. Even he is working with several professors for an engineer. So he started building up his profile starting from the fourth semester. That is the wonderful decision. But the most of the people in a dilemma even until the seventh semester what to do in the life. Suggestion regarding internship and other things in India, like should we go to IIT, IISc or some company?
Pallav has more variety. We can share it. What are the differences between the culture of IITB and IIT?
Yeah, I'd like to add. So, as far as I could understand the question, it was about some people realize at a very early stage of their undergrad that they have to go into research, and some people realize at a later stage. So, like, what are the options for the two now? So, I'll first start with the one who realized it at a very early stage. So, like, I was the one who was like confused if I should go into civil services or if I should go into research. So what I did was, if I had jumped directly into the confusion that I want to go for civil services, and I would have neglected research, so it would have happened that I would have not done internship, and I would have ended up like going for coachings and all those things. But if I would have, oh sorry, I went off the track. Yeah. So my main point is, like, even if you are in a dilemma, you should try to build your profile for the other thing too. Like, you never know when your mind changes. So even though I wanted to do civil services in my fourth semester, I went for an internship at IIT Bombay, so that I did not hurt my research profile. And slowly, as I went for the internship, I got more and more interested into research, and slowly I dropped the idea of doing civil services and pursued research. And for the people who realize at later point that they want to do research, they should probably, like, the best option is to do a MTech and then get for a PhD. Or if they really want to do just masters, and funding is not a very great issue for them, then I think they should go for RA or something at some of the several institutes in India, and then they should try for MS or PhD. And the question about whether you work with a company like PWD or the Indian Railways or the Metro, if it helps in your research, like research, if it adds in your research profile or not. It adds, but it does not add as much as a research internship would add. Like for you, the problem statements that are given at the PWD or there, you know what is the standard of those problems, and those are not really research problems. Those are just engineering problems, and there's difference between engineering and research. Um, yeah, so that's it. It's better to do a research internship than going to PWD or university.
I mean, in terms of PWD metro, I would say, I mean, I won't be diplomatic. That's nothing in short. It's a wastage of 2 months.
I'll add a slightly contrarian story to that. I have a friend here who worked in the Indian Railways, and now he's gotten a research assistantship in railroad engineering in my department, purely because of his experience in the Indian Railways. And the reason for that is in the US, railways refers to freight railways, mainly. And freight railways is entirely funded by the private industry. And for them, research means so-called engineering problems and not really research problems. And so he was pretty well suited for those kind of. I know it's an exception, not everything like that, but I'm just saying people from the Indian Railways do get opportunities in my university for research.
It's, it's problem specific, yeah. It's very specific to the topic, you can say. So in freight, yes. In US, they are supported by private companies. The experience in the Indian Railways will definitely be better to get. And also, I want to like share some experience of mine, what I did during my bachelor's. So I'm not sure about the current undergraduate curriculum. So in IIT Roorkee, BTech in civil engineering is more oriented towards structural engineering. That's for sure. So like you study more structural subjects than any other branch subjects. So what I did, I took some audit courses. I took audit courses, graduate courses in transportation, and that definitely tells you about what's the advanced subjects are. And that will tell you like what are you going to do when you will be doing research or you will be doing higher studies. So definitely get some audit subjects or study some graduate courses in your department that will tell you what are the advancements in that field.
Yeah, and there was a question about whether they should do a project with their professors. Yeah, they should definitely do a project with one of the professors of their interest at IIT Roorkee. That helps.
Since we're on the idea of what you should do in Roorkee, I'll just add one thing from my side. So when I was in Roorkee, aside from my GPA and studies and all that, I was also the additional secretary in the literary section. I was also in the magazine Kshitij. What my point is, communication skills are extremely important. English communication skills. If you want to come to the US, not just for research, even if you just want a job, use your time to improve your English communication skills. In my case, because my skills are good and I know it, my advisor lets me give presentations at various conferences. I went to 5 conferences this year. Next year in January, I have 3 presentations in 1 month alone. So, and therefore, instead of being the nameless, faceless person who does the research, you can also become the person who actually presents the research. Similarly, when you're talking for an industry job, you can talk confidently if your communication skills are up to the mark. And by communication skills, I mean reading, speaking, writing, and also listening, although people miss that. So keep in mind, improve your communication skills. Don't make GRE just about an exam. It's about being able to communicate.
Okay, and there was one more question about when to start the preparation. So I think the earlier the better. So you can start your preparation maybe from the end of second year.
And I would suggest to complete GRE and before 7th semester. I mean, in the end of 6th semester or even so that you can have better, relaxed time for preparing applications.
Yeah, and even if you score low in the first go, you can then you have time to retake the exam, prepare well for it. So yeah, the earlier the better. And but at least give it 2 months before. Like, the minimum I would suggest is at least 2 months before the application period begins. That is generally in December, so you should be done with it by October.
Maybe earlier, more earlier.
I'll add for the benefit of the students, the TOEFL score can be an important determinant whether you get a teaching assistant position, especially the speaking section. TOEFL has 4 sections, one of them is the speaking section. Do very well on that section if you want to be considered for a teaching assistant.
Yeah, and there's a magical number for that. They call it the magical number. It's 26 out of 30. So if you are 26 and above, you cross the magical number, and yeah, you'll be considered. The 26 is a decent score on the speaking section. The next question.
Thank you very much, sir. There are no further questions from here.
Okay.
If you would like to conclude anything, you can.
Yeah, actually, I have one document which I would like to share with all you guys. So I think I already posted it on the civil research group, but yeah, I'll repost the link to Yash, and he can share it with everybody present in the room right now. And that's basically how to apply for the graduate school, and how to write a SOP, how to write a letter of recommendation, stuff like that. So and what weightage is given to whose recommendation letter and stuff like that. So it will be really helpful guide to you guys. I'll share that with you. Does anybody want to add anything?
I'll just add one simple line which has helped me a lot. Don't be afraid to try new things, even if you fail. If you don't try, you'll never be able to get ahead in life. So in India, you tend to be discouraged from trying new things because you might fail or log kya kahe. But don't, keep trying new things, and you'll do fine in mostly whatever you do as long as you put your mind to it.
Okay.
Thank you, Shishtoman.
Can I add a last thing? Yeah. Generally in India we have this mindset, like not only in India, everywhere. It's that we should not apply to very top schools like MIT or Harvard, Stanford, like just because they are very top school, and we consider ourselves as down, like they will not take us and stuff like that. Don't fear that, because people from way low university than you are in get into those schools. So definitely go for those. You never know, like, when you'll have to get a few.
Okay, Shishtoman, just a completely different thing. Okay, Shishtoman,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes.
You started this campaign at IIT Roorkee. You wrote many things in IIT Roorkee forum that call seniors as sir.
Right. Hello?
I am not wrong.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, why can we going to have here? I don't believe that Colonel Shishtoman sir. He calls you by name, right?
Right.
Pallab.
Yes, sir. Actually, I did not understand your question.
Abolish this practice, man. Just get rid of this.
I'll say, when I was in Roorkee, all the juniors who were my friends never called me sir. One of them used to call me sir, and I used to call him sir back until he stopped calling me sir. I think it's a really stupid thing. I strongly discourage it. I love my name. I want people to call me by my name. I am not sir. I don't have a knighthood from the Queen.
Yeah.
First name is the best name. This whole sir business is really silly. And if someone tells you it prepares you for real life, they haven't seen real life.
And this kind of create a distance also. I mean, if there will be a distance between the first year and second year people with probably of the same age, and I mean, how there can be a better communication with your professor? But it's in mentality. It's, I don't think why this is there. But I think it's better to stop that slowly. I mean, nowhere it is there now.
Yeah,
All of you for connecting with us and sharing your experiences.
okay. Okay, thanks guys. Thank you for being patient listeners. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you for organizing this.
Thanks for thanks for
Yeah,
doing-
and, yeah, sure. We'll organize something like this again. Upon like whenever you demand this, just see whenever you have time and a lot of questions, you can go ahead and ask us. You can contact us personally on Facebook or email. Or if you have our email IDs, I'll share it with you guys. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good end term.